What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. So, today we are going to talk about my 2023 Gibson Murphy Lab made to measure Les Paul Custom. A lot of words in that title. So, first thing I'm going to do things a little differently. First thing I'm going to do is hit you with a demo. Here is the legit demo of this guitar after I've done all the modifications and everything that I've done to it. And then we'll come back and I'll give you the rundown about everything I've done to it. So, here we go. So, if you saw the unboxing video, you know I got this guy about a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, I don't know, hadn't been that long. But you know, like bucket list dream guitar here. And so in this video, I'm going to kind of go over some reasons why I bought it, and more importantly, why I modified it. And I did a lot of modification to this guitar, which might seem crazy, and I wanted to explain why. So, first and foremost, right, I am a tiny, nobody YouTube channel, not affiliated with Gibson in any way. I bought this guitar with my own money, okay? So, I am going to tell you some things about this guitar that may make you go, what, why? Like, a guitar that costs that much money and it had these issues with it, and why that didn't bother me. I'm not saying it shouldn't bother you, but I'm going to explain why it didn't bother me, okay? So, let's get into it. So, I found this guitar on Reverb from Fours Guitars in Houston, Texas, and they have been great. Talking with them was phenomenal. Working with them was great. Super great shop. So, highly recommend. So, I got the guitar in, and the first thing I immediately noticed, right after I made, so like, as soon as the FedEx truck, as soon as the FedEx truck pulled up, the lady brought the guitar, dropped it off, I opened it up, wow, made my unboxing video, went to work. I came home from work, and I was kind of looking through things a little more, and the very first thing I noticed, okay, once I had a moment, actually didn't have anything to do with the guitar. I thought it was funny. If I'm being completely honest, I thought this was funny. So, you know, guitars like this come with a bunch of case candy. You get hang tags and all kinds of stuff, right? And you get a certificate of authenticity. Now, the serial number that's inside this certificate of authenticity is not the serial number on the back of my guitar. So Gibson sent, and I contacted Fuller about this. They've been super helpful and very professional, and I actually just talked to them today, and they're getting it all sorted out for me, and they're going to get me the actual COA that goes with this guitar. So, nothing but, you know, thanks to Fuller Guitars for dealing with this. But Gibson. This is a Murphy Lab made to measure guitar, okay? this isn't like an $800 guitar, my guys. The amount of money this guitar cost, you should be able to read what's on the back of the headstock and what's in here. And if they don't match, don't send it to a shop, right? Right? Because I don't blame Fuller's. I don't blame them for this at all. They got the guitar. They probably took it out, took some photos of it, hung it up on a wall somewhere, took the case, put it in a, wherever they keep, in the back where they keep their stuff, and then they went and grabbed this guitar, and they went and grabbed the case that it came in, and they put it all back together, and they sent it to me. And, again, I don't blame them. Gibson. Guys. The wrong COA? Come on. So, anyway, is that the end of the world? No. But when you pay this kind of money for a guitar, come on, right? But Fuller's is sorting me out. They've been great to deal with, so I'm happy on that end. Now, there were some modifications I did that I planned on doing. And so what I mean by that is, if you know what made-to-measure guitars are, Gibson has a kind of little separate, I don't even know really how to explain it, right? So Gibson Custom Shop is kind of its own entity, and they're not, they don't really interact with Gibson USA. You got the main Gibson USA plant factory where they build all their standard Les Pauls and stuff. And the Custom Shop is its complete own facility, right? But the Custom Shop makes production guitars too. Okay? Kind of confusing, but the Custom Shop makes production guitars. But then they also make made-to-measure guitars, which are, you called them, spec'd out a guitar, told them what you want, or in most cases, people will actually go to the Gibson garage and go to the made-to-measure room, and they'll pick out tops, and they'll pick out hardware and all this kind of stuff, right? So Fuller's had a couple of these, which means they probably called up Gibson and said, hey, we want some Silverburst Les Paul Customs. We want them to have this, light checking, relicking work to them. You can kind of see that a little, yeah, you can kind of see that checking there. So they called up Gibson and they said, hey, we want a couple of these. And these are the specs we want, et cetera, et cetera. Cool, great. Gibson built them for them, sent them to the shop, and they have them for sale now, right? So, they're like custom shop guitars. But I had been thinking about doing this anyway. About going to Gibson myself and putting in for a made-to-measure guitar. That would have cost a lot of money. Not that this didn't. That would have cost a lot of money, though. And I wouldn't have been able to, negotiate. I wouldn't have been able to make an offer, right? Like, anything like that. It would have been going to Gibson, whatever they say the price is. That's what the price is. You pay for it. You wait for 9 months, a year, maybe, and then you get the guitar. Right? So I could have done that. But I'm impatient. And that's where the modification thing about me modding this guitar comes into play, right? I thought, what if I can find one that's like 90% where I want it to be? You know what I mean? And then all of the things I can, as long as the things I can't do or don't want to do are the way I want, the things I can change and can, swapping out pickups, swapping out tuners, that kind of stuff, right? I don't mind doing that. That's easy for me to do. So that's how I went into this, was I'm going to find one that's close, and then I'll make it the way I want. Instead of going to Gibson and putting in an order and paying more money and having to wait for 9 or 10 months or something like that, right? So that was my logic behind buying such an expensive guitar and then immediately modifying it, right? So now, let's get into the modifications I did. Most of these modifications were, again, completely unnecessary. They're my modifications that I like to do on guitars. It wasn't because the pickups were bad or the tuners were bad or whatever was bad, right? It was just not what I wanted. I wanted what I wanted, and that's what I went into this guitar. That's the mindset I went into this guitar with. Now, there was one modification that I had to make out of necessity that is, in my opinion, completely unacceptable for a guitar in any price range, much less in this one. And we'll get to that. I'm going to save that one for last, right? So, first modification was, this guitar came with the, like, kidney bean, I think that's what it's called, yeah, the kidney bean style Grover tuning machines on them. So these are the tuning machines that came on the guitar. I didn't change out the actual tuners. I just bought these Keystone tips and put them on because, in my opinion, they look way classier on a Les Paul Custom. You know, my white Les Paul Custom up here has these on it. I wanted it to kind of match that. I wanted it to have the same profile and look and everything, so I just bought the tuner tips and swapped them out. That was it. Another modification I made that you can't see is in the control cavity, I bought some really high quality orange drop capacitors and put them in here. Was that totally necessary? You know, it came with kind of the standard Les Paul Custom, like those little bitty ceramic disc capacitors, and in my opinion, and this could just be like a placebo thing, it could be a thing in my mind, I don't know. I feel like when I have a high quality orange drop capacitor and I roll down my tone, it has a much slower kind of taper to it, and it doesn't get as dark. Those little ceramic disc capacitors, I feel like there's like no taper. I feel like it's almost like an on or off switch with the tone. It's like really bright, you know, really bright, really dark. And there's no kind of sweep to it. So, do I use that a whole lot? Not really. But I figured, hey, you know what? They don't cost a whole lot of money. And, if I'm being honest, visually, I just don't like the way those things look. I think they look cheap. And, like, yeah, sure, who's going to be seeing that or looking in there? But, like, I am sometimes. And I don't like the way they look. So, I swapped them out for orange drops. And the last modification I planned to make was swapping the pickups out. So this guitar came with 490R neck pickup and a 498T bridge pickup. And I actually took the guitar in that configuration to a band practice. And the pickups, well, the 490R didn't sound great. Never dug that. It's just really dark, muddy pickup. I'm not a fan. The 498T and the bridge actually sounded pretty good. But I noticed I was having a little bit of a, like when I would palm mute, there would be this little like, kind of thing. And it wasn't this, because I always have like a fret wrap, right? It was electronical, like it was like from the pickup. And I know those pickups are supposed to be wax potted. Gibson doesn't wax pot all their pickups. I know that pickup is supposed to be wax potted. Maybe it is, maybe it's not, but it was squealing a little bit, and I'd already ordered this pickup, so I didn't care anyway, but I just thought, like, okay, well, you know, cool, I play such high gain stuff that I gotta have a real quiet pickup. Again, that's not me dissing that pickup. I actually like the 498T. I think it sounds pretty good, but the way Gibson constructs their pickups, and, you know, said sometimes they're just noisy. That's just what it is. So, this is a Seymour Duncan Antiquity JB. And the cool thing about it is aged in relic to kind of match the guitar. And they do some stuff that, who knows if it really does anything, right? They degauss the magnet. I don't know if that does anything. They say it does. Pickup sounds gnarly. I know that. It sounds awesome. It's like 16.8K, which is like right where I like output to be. It's hot, but it's really present. It's really clear. It's got a really tight low end. It looks the part. Like, totally pleased. And then the neck pickup is a Gibson Custom Bucker, which is like the complete opposite, right? It's not wax potted. It's super low output, but This pickup is super bright, it's super clear, it's super articulate, and I don't know why they wouldn't just put this in, like, I don't know why they just wouldn't put this in all of their custom shop guitars. Like, why, like, put this and, like, the 498T in it or something. I don't know. The 490R neck pickup just, it sounds like it's underwater with mud on top of it. Like, I've never liked that pickup. So, that was it. Orange drop caps, pickups, tuners, strap locks. You know, that's all I was going to do to the guitar. And I noticed something when I was changing strings on the guitar. This is the stock bridge that came on the guitar. And I like the way it looks. It's slightly aged. It matched everything great. But look at this. Here's a stud from a Les Paul. I just had one laying around, an extra one. So this is a bridge mounting stud. Okay. Now, let me put my guitar down because I really want to show y'all this. Okay. This is, see if you can see the holes, alright? Here is the stud. Can you see all that? Can you see that? Look at this. Like, okay, so for example, here is a bridge off of another Les Paul I have. This is the bridge off my Tobacco Standard that is out of frame that you can't see. I don't have strings on it right now. Alright, look at that. Wow, no gap. It fits on there pretty good, right? I don't understand. Like, why on earth... I'll put that back on later. So here's the custom shop bridge. Why? I mean, look how much bigger the hole is. Why would you drill the holes out to where there's almost like a 0.5 millimeter or more all the way around the mounting stud? And you can, like, look at that. What? When the bridge was on the guitar fully tuned, I could grab the bridge and move it like this. Like, what? That doesn't make any sense to me at all, Gibson. Like, I don't understand. Like, I wouldn't expect that on a $1,200, like, Les Paul Tribute or SG Tribute or something, much less a custom shop made-to-measure Murphy Lab. Like, good God, man. So, luckily, I had a Tone Pros locking bridge sitting around, and I just love Tone Pros locking bridges. So they have, see if you can see this on the back of the bridge here. See those little holes on the back of the bridge? They have little screws in them. You take a little Allen wrench and put in there, and you turn that screw, and it actually locks the bridge to the bridge post. So it doesn't move ever at all, even when you take all the strings off of it. Really good and solid for intonation and stuff. And the Tone Pros bridges are a little wider this way, which gives you a little more travel for intonation. If you're putting big strings on there and tuning down like I do, that really helps. So, overall, what's my takeaway overall, huh? My takeaway overall is I'm super pleased with the guitar. I know it sounds like I was sitting here just like trashing it, you know, but I love the guitar. I love it. Like, it plays great. The fretwork is phenomenal. The fretwork was like 10 out of 10 fretwork, which, I mean, it should be. It should be, right? But I'm not going to sit here and not praise what they did good, right? Just because it was expensive, people are going to be like, oh, it should be like that, right? Yes, it should, but you should still commend them for doing a good job where they did a good job, right? The fretwork is phenomenal. The finish looks fantastic. I love the checking and stuff. This video is not really going to do it justice, but I love the checking and the feel of it. It feels like an old guitar. The wiring on the, like I said, I popped the plate and changed out the orange drop caps. The wiring is immaculate. The wiring harness looks phenomenally done, you know. The neck profile is great. The nut is cut very well and looks very nice. I mean, you know, there's really nothing else I can think of to point out and critique. The guitar is phenomenal, other than the bridge. So, like, again, all these other modifications are things I just did, you know, because I wanted to. So my only real kind of gripe was the COA. The COA is just kind of a dumb thing, right? But the bridge was the big thing. The bridge, come on, guys, you know, I'm not going to return the guitar because of something like that. I'm not going to. I'll just buy the bridge I want and put it on there, right? You've already spent this much money. What's $80 more for the bridge you want, right? But with that being said, again, I'm a professional guitar tech. I have a parts drawer with all kinds of stuff in it, and I had a Tone Pros bridge laying around. You know, I had this custom bucker already. Like, if you're not like me, you know, if you don't just have like a parts drawer, if you don't work on guitars for a living, if you don't have this kind of knowledge, that bridge might have really goofed you up. Like, I can totally understand someone sending a guitar like this back because it had a bridge like that on it. So, I'm not going to let them skate by on that. But, overall, you know, it's exactly the guitar I want it to be now. And that was the whole point from the beginning, was for it to become the guitar I wanted it to be. It wasn't going to start out that way. And I know some people out there will say, that's crazy. If you pay whatever grand, you know, for a guitar, and everybody's got a different opinion. Some people say if you pay $1,000 for a guitar. Some people say if you pay $5,000 for a guitar. Some people say if you pay $10,000 for a guitar, it should be perfect. But that doesn't mean anything, because perfect is different to every person. Your perfect and my perfect aren't the same thing, right? So any guitar just on the wall hanging there isn't going to be perfect for everybody. That's why people mod guitars. And I don't know why that's so difficult for people to understand. That's why people mod expensive guitars. Because I wanted a nice Les Paul custom. And I couldn't build me one, but I could order one or find one that was 90% there, and then just swap out the stuff I wanted, right? Like, well, it blows my mind that people say stuff like that. Like, it should just be perfect for 10 grand or whatever. And it's like, well, for you, it might be. For me, it might not be. And vice versa, right? Like, it just is what it is. Perfect is subjective to the person, you know, to the specific individual. Perfect isn't just some, like, objective thing that everyone agrees on. So, you know, before you even get in the comments and say that, here you go, right? Like, perfect's not a real thing. Perfect only applies to you. What's perfect to you? There's no objective perfect. So, that's why I modified this guitar. That's why I spent so much money on it, because that's what I wanted. And before you jump in the comments and be like, I would never spend, okay, well then don't. You don't have to. No one's making you. Like, you know, I hear that all the time too. I don't want this to seem like a negative video. It kind of seems like a negative video. I don't want it to come across that way, because I'm really happy with the guitar. And everyone, you know, that all my bandmates and everyone I've showed it to is just like blown away by it. They're just like, God, man, I can't believe you spent that much money on something like that. And fair enough, I know it's ridiculous. Like I said in the unboxing video, it's not lost on me how ridiculous this is. It isn't. I'm very fortunate to be able to have something like this. So, just to reiterate, don't jump into comments and start being crazy, because, you know, you would never spend this much money on a guitar. That's fine. You don't have to. I wanted to. And I knew it wasn't going to be perfect because perfect's not even a real thing. That's objective, right? I was going to make it perfect for me when I got the guitar I wanted. And that's exactly what I did. So, thumbnail. 2023 Gibson Murphy Lab made to measure Les Paul Custom in Silverburst. There he is. So, hope you guys enjoy the video, and I will see y'all next week.